Most guys think confidence is something you're either born with or something you have to grind for years to build. But that's just not how it works. In reality, confidence usually boils down to a handful of simple habits that completely change the way you see yourself, and the way everyone else sees you too. Today, you're going to learn 6 game-changing habits that can instantly make you come across as more confident, more respected, and more in control. Let's dive into the first one. Topic 1. Stop explaining yourself all the time. One of the fastest ways to spot an insecure guy has nothing to do with how he dresses, how much he's got in the bank, or how loud he talks. It usually shows up in something way more subtle: the constant urge to explain himself. He's got a reason for why he was late, why he bought that car, why he skipped the party, or why he switched careers. On the surface, it sounds polite, even considerate, but dig a little deeper and it usually points to something else. A quiet fear of being misjudged or called out. Genuinely confident guys get that not every decision needs a defense, because they're not walking around like every choice needs a stamp of approval from somebody else. Think about the people who just naturally command respect. They almost never scramble to justify every move they make. Can't make it to an event? They just say they can't make it. Disagree with someone? They say so, calmly, without giving a 5-minute TED Talk to back it up. That's because confidence isn't about convincing everyone you're right. It's about being okay letting your decisions speak for themselves. A simple line like, "Appreciate it, but I'm gonna pass," usually carries way more weight than some long-winded apology-packed explanation. Funny enough, the less someone feels the need to justify every choice, the more people just assume it was made on purpose. That doesn't mean turning into some cold, arrogant robot. There are times explanations are totally necessary, with family, close friends, or at work when things need to be crystal clear. The trick is knowing the difference between communicating and asking permission. A good exercise: notice how many times a day you catch yourself saying things like, "Because," "I just figured," or "I didn't want you to think." Before you say it, pause for a beat and ask yourself, am I saying this because it actually helps the conversation, or because I need a green light? That little moment of self-awareness can completely shift how you carry yourself, and it sets you up perfectly for the next habit confident guys quietly master without most people ever clocking it. Topic 2. Slow everything down. Ever notice how the most confident people are almost never the ones moving at top speed? They don't rush through conversations, they don't rush to fill every silence, and they don't look like they're racing the clock. That's because confidence has a rhythm to it. When a guy's constantly in a hurry, talking, walking, reacting, his body's basically broadcasting anxiety before he even opens his mouth. Our brains just naturally link frantic energy with uncertainty, while calm, deliberate movement reads as control. It's subtle, but people pick up on it almost instantly, even if they couldn't tell you why. One of the easiest ways to feel this shift is by changing your speaking pace. Most guys talk faster when they're nervous, because their brain's trying to prove they know what they're talking about as fast as possible. Ironically, it's the opposite that lands better. Slow down just a touch, throw in a few pauses between thoughts, resist the urge to fill every second with noise, and suddenly your words carry more weight. Great leaders, sharp negotiators, respected mentors, they rarely sound like they're in a rush. They talk like they expect to be listened to, not because they're demanding attention, but because they're comfortable enough to let their words breathe. This habit goes way beyond just talking. Walk into a meeting without sprinting to your seat. Take a beat before answering a tough question instead of firing back instantly. When someone pushes back on your opinion, you don't need to respond in half a second. That little pause isn't weakness. It's proof you're actually thinking instead of just reacting. A lot of guys spend years trying to look more confident by changing what they say, when really, just changing the pace of everything they do can completely flip how they're perceived. And once that calm energy starts showing on the outside, the next habit becomes way easier to build. Topic 3. Hold eye contact without turning it into a staring contest. Eye contact is one of the first things people clock about you. Yet most guys fall into one of two traps without even realizing it. Some are constantly looking away because they're worried about saying the wrong thing or making the other person uncomfortable. Others try so hard to look confident that they stare without blinking, and it flips from natural into flat-out intimidating. Neither one screams real confidence. The goal isn't to dominate someone with your eyes, it's to show you're actually present. A guy who can comfortably hold someone's gaze without forcing it sends a strong signal before he even says a word. There's actually a psychological reason behind this. Humans are wired to look for signs of certainty in the people around them. Someone whose eyes are darting all over the room mid-conversation comes off distracted, anxious, or unsure, even if that's not the case at all. Relaxed eye contact, on the other hand, builds trust and a sense of stability. Think back to the last time someone made you feel truly heard. Odds are it wasn't because they had the perfect words lined up. It's because their attention never wandered. They weren't glancing at their phone, scanning the room, or mentally drafting their next line. They were genuinely locked in, and that kind of presence is honestly rare these days. The good news is this isn't some trait you're either born with or not. It's a skill you can build every single day. Next time you're grabbing coffee, chatting with a coworker, or catching up with a friend, focus on holding comfortable eye contact while they talk, instead of worrying about what you'll say next. When it's your turn to speak, keep that same relaxed connection, instead of looking down after every line. You'll notice conversations feel calmer, people open up more, and you start feeling more composed without forcing a thing. Once you stop chasing confidence through looks alone, you'll find that one of the strongest signals of self-assurance actually comes from something most people are desperately trying to avoid. If you're vibing with these ideas and want to level up into a more confident, respected, disciplined version of yourself, take a sec to hit subscribe. We're working toward 1,000 subscribers, and every single one of you helps us keep pumping out content like this. If you're serious about improving yourself, come join us. Let's grow together. Topic 4. Stop filling every silence. Most people can't stand silence, and that's exactly why it holds so much power. The second a conversation goes quiet, a lot of guys instinctively rush to fill the gap with extra explanations, nervous laughs, or whatever pops into their head first. They assume silence feels awkward, when really it only feels awkward because they've convinced themselves it is. Confident guys see it differently. A few seconds of silence don't weaken a conversation. They strengthen it. It gives ideas room to land, feelings room to settle, and lets the other person engage more naturally. Think about the most memorable speakers you've ever heard. They don't blaze from one sentence to the next without breathing. They pause after something important and let it sink in. Same principle applies in everyday life. In a job interview, on a first date, or in a hard conversation with a friend, taking a quick pause before responding shows thoughtfulness, not insecurity. It tells the other person you're not reacting on emotion or scrambling for the perfect answer. You're choosing your words on purpose, and that subtle shift makes you come across way more composed and self-assured. An easy way to practice this: stop treating every silence like a problem you need to fix. Next time someone asks you a question, count to 2 in your head before answering. If a conversation naturally hits a lull, resist jumping in with another story or opinion. You'll probably notice the other person keeps talking, opens up more, or just gets more comfortable around you. Funny enough, the guys who feel least threatened by silence are usually the ones whose words carry the most weight, and that becomes even more powerful once combined with the next habit that separates confident guys from everybody else. Topic 5. Make decisions faster without being reckless. One of the biggest myths about confident guys is that they always make the right call. They don't. What actually sets them apart is that they make a decision, own the outcome, and adjust if they need to. Insecure guys tend to get stuck overthinking every choice, convinced one wrong move is going to define them forever. They weigh endless options, ask for one more opinion, wait around for total certainty that's never actually going to show up. The irony is that this habit slowly eats away at confidence, because every delayed decision just reinforces the belief that they can't trust their own gut. Confidence builds through evidence, and every decision you make adds another piece to that pile. Think about learning to drive. Nobody becomes a good driver by reading manuals for years and never getting behind the wheel. Progress comes from making small mistakes, fixing them, and racking up experience. Life works the exact same way. Whether it's applying for a new job, approaching someone you're into, starting a business, or committing to a workout routine, you'll learn way more from just taking action than from endlessly running every possible outcome in your head. Action builds experience, and experience builds confidence in a way that overthinking never will. That doesn't mean acting reckless or tuning out good advice. It means gathering a reasonable amount of info, making the best call you can with what you've got today, and moving forward instead of constantly looking back. A good rule of thumb: ask yourself, is another hour of thinking actually going to change my decision, or am I just stalling because I'm scared? More often than not, the answer reveals it's fear, not logic, holding you back. Guys who come across decisive aren't fearless. They've just learned that trusting yourself is a skill you build through repetition, and that realization opens the door to the most important confidence-building habit of all. Topic 6. Keep the promises you make to yourself. Most people think confidence comes from compliments, success, or how others see them. But all that stuff is temporary. The second the praise fades or life gets hard, that borrowed confidence starts slipping away. Real confidence is built somewhere much quieter, in the promises a guy makes to himself when nobody's watching. Every time he says he'll wake up early, finish that workout, read 10 pages, or follow through on a commitment, he's doing more than just checking a box. He's proving to himself that his own word actually means something. And there's no stronger foundation for confidence than knowing you can count on yourself. Picture two guys walking into the same room. One's got an expensive watch, a tailored suit, looks sharp head to toe, but deep down he knows he's been breaking promises to himself for months. The other's dressed simple, but he knows he's actually kept his word. Training when he didn't feel like it, saving instead of chasing instant gratification, still learning after long, exhausting days, following through even when it got uncomfortable. From the outside, they might look equally confident, but over time, their actions tell the real story. The second guy carries a quiet certainty you just can't fake or buy, because it's backed by proof he's collected day after day. If you want to build real confidence, don't start by asking how to impress other people. Start by asking yourself one simple question: what's one promise I can make today that I'll 100% keep? It doesn't need to be huge. Get up when the alarm goes off. Finish the workout you had planned. Read one chapter instead of scrolling for another hour. Keep that promise, then make another one tomorrow. Confidence doesn't come from one life-changing moment. It grows through hundreds of small, ordinary decisions nobody's clapping for. Eventually, you stop needing validation from the outside, because you've built something way stronger on the inside. Solid proof that you can actually trust the guy staring back at you in the mirror. Conclusion: confidence doesn't show up overnight, and it's not reserved for some lucky few. It's built one decision at a time, through the small habits you choose to repeat every single day. The 6 habits you just went through might seem simple, but that's exactly what makes them so powerful. When you stop over-explaining yourself, slow your pace down, hold genuine eye contact, get comfortable with silence, make decisions with conviction, and keep the promises you make to yourself, you're not faking confidence anymore. You're actually becoming that guy. Over time, these small shifts reshape not just how other people see you, but how you see yourself. So here's the question: which of these 6 habits do you struggle with the most? And which one are you going to start working on today? Drop your answer in the comments. I'd genuinely love to see which one hits home for you. Your answer might even give another guy out there the push he needs to start building his own confidence too. If you got something out of this video and want more real talk on confidence, discipline, self-improvement, and becoming the best version of yourself, go ahead and subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the next one. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.